All right, Craig. I love talking about this with you, the what we're watching.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my problem first.
Okay.
I am not watching anything. I
Oh.
am watching, I'm distracted by the confusing NFL season. I gotta give up the NFL, man. I'm just, Laura Kessel came back. We're doing a podcast about the new Frasier season. I'm telling her, I'm like, she's telling me about Apple TV, and you're telling me about Apple TV, and four other people are telling me Apple TV. I'm like, I gotta drop NFL Plus. I need Apple TV in my life because NFL is confounding. I'm watching podcasts about the NFL. I don't have time. And on top of that, the dumb Big Brother season has a week left. And the Big Brother season is longer than baseball. It just goes on and on and on. And I can't get away from it, dude. So after this week, my Big Brother, obligation is gone. And hopefully, and the way the Steelers are playing, my NFL obligation could be gone pretty soon too. So I gotta get locked in on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing I'm watching. I'll probably think of another thing while you're mentioning stuff. I saw Mr. McMahon on Netflix.
Okay.
I kind of like that.
I have
Not
not seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. I'm very interested in watching it though. I know that it doesn't pull a lot of punches from what I've been told. So
not too
I
friendly to
can.
Mr. McMahon.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of friendly stuff to be said about Mr. McMahon right now, but yeah, it's definitely something on my list right now. But don't have Netflix right now. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay. What was Laura telling me? She was advising me about an Apple TV show, and you've said you've liked it too. What's the big hit on Apple TV now?
Well, I mean, my go-to is always Ted Lasso, but I know Slow Horses is a drama that a lot of people love. Shrinking, George Thomas, our Akron Beacon Journal film critic, loves Slow Horses. They have a new season out, so I mean, slowly but surely, I think Apple TV Plus is putting out more content. Obviously there was the Jake Gyllenhaal presumed innocence as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm very interested in a series that's premiering on October 11th. Disclaimer from
Okay.
Alfonso Cuarón, one of the great filmmakers working today, is delving into TV streaming, and I'm interested to see. And it's also a movie about journalism, TV journalism, but I'm
Oh,
interested to
wow.
see. Yeah, interested about that. Kate Blanchett starring in that. So that's a show that I'm very much interested in, and that starts on Friday.
I saw the first season of the morning show. Yeah, I was intrigued. Is it so good after the first year, or
I
does it kind
actually, I
of?
could not get beyond the first few episodes, and it's surprising because we George and I talked about it on one of the podcasts. He enjoyed it. He said it's gotten better and better. But honestly, I kind of lost interest in it. I thought it was a little bland and too boring for me, and it kind of was sort of the hot off the presses after the Matt Lauer stuff, and I think it just kind of took advantage of that kind of thing. And to me, I just couldn't get past the first few episodes where I felt like they didn't do the journalism that great, and I just kind of felt like this isn't for me. So I never really watched after like the first three episodes.
Speaking of journalism shows, what was that Amazon? Oh, what was the TV journalism that was a big deal for a while? It had Jeff Bridges. Oh,
Oh, he was
Craig, I'm
on.
getting old. I can't remember anything now.
Yeah, he or you mean Jeff Daniels?
Oh yeah, Jeff Daniels. We played the
Yeah,
anchor.
yeah, it was oh crap, I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
we're,
trying to.
we're, we're both getting
It's
old
on
too.
Max.
Jeez.
It's on Max.
Oh, it's on Max. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, I cannot believe.
Geez, send this to the home, dude. I mean, we're just like, I mean, this is not. We're gonna
Uh,
be the youngest dudes in the home. We're gonna be sitting around chatting and we don't
yeah,
remember anything.
I
Um,
I am I am drawing a complete blank. I got to look it up now because I'm drawing such a blank that I need to see it. I need to see it for myself. And
oh
um,
yeah,
let's see here. And this was a show that actually came out several years ago too. So this is not super recent, but I know it was always received pretty well. Um, received so well that I forgot the name of it. Huh?
Yes, yeah. Everyone, the newsroom.
The newsroom. Yes, I kept wanting to say the network, but that was not right, so I didn't want to say it. But yeah, the newsroom.
I think it was good, but it's all like news. Like, no matter how much we talked in another segment about The Office, the journalism version that's coming out, I
Yeah.
think no matter how much it'll suck, I'll like it because it's about journalism. But
Right.
I had a love hate relationship at times with the newsroom, but overall I liked it. I thought it was good.
Okay.
I don't know. It was kind of weird, like the anchor who, wakes up one day is mad at the system and he'll say whatever. And it's like, come on, maybe we should all be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the premise was okay. I think it got a little over the top at times. I don't know. It's like, Craig's a news reporter, but one day he'll be like, screw it. And you'll just say what you really feel. And it's like, okay, it's interesting. I'll probably watch it, but does that really happen in real life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, journalists do that, but it's probably not a good idea for journalists to do that, right?
Probably not. No, I don't think it's a good idea.
To say, "Oh, screw it." I know a lot of journalists that have done that, and they're probably not employed anymore. But hey, you do what you can. I was telling Laura, the Tay Leone. I think I still have a crush on her from a long time ago. I was watching on Netflix. It was that show, Madam Secretary. It was on CBS for a while.
Yeah.
I've been kind of liking that. I liked the couple. Who's the guy from Wings that played her husband on that? I can't remember anything.
No, well, he's one of those like you know who he is, but you don't know who he is. Tim Daly.
Yeah, Tim Daly. I liked them on that show. They were kind of like a hip young couple. Liked their kids. Liked how they interacted with each other. And again, man, maybe I have a thing for Tay Leone. I don't know what it is, but it was always a fun show. I like that. I think they had the girl from Frasier.
Okay.
The Lilith from Frasier was like one of Tay Leone's workers in the State Department, which was kind of wild.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I like that. You've said this in the past. Netflix is this huge content dump, though.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a billion things you got to climb through to find 6 or 7 things you like. Where Apple TV, you're like, man, everything on here is good. It's hard to find a crappy thing on Apple. Where Netflix, there's a billion things to watch, but most of it's kind of
it's just so much stuff on Netflix, and I think it. They try to just push out content so they can say, hey, we have more options than anybody. But the reality of it is their options aren't generally that great. So, there are a few things that are fun and entertaining on Netflix, I will admit. But I think for the most part, they kind of struggle to find an audience because I think for a long time they wanted to just kind of be like reality entertainment. And then they delved into film and they wanted to have great filmmakers work for them. And now they've kind of tried to do a little bit of balance where they have more action movies to try to make more, money in the streaming world where you get more subscriptions. But I think they're just kind of, they're trying to find their footing. And, I think it's, I will say that, like documentaries, I think, the Mr. McMahon type stuff is probably a good wheelhouse for them. True crime documentaries are interesting there too. So, I think maybe that's their niche is documentary series.
okay. I'm buying that. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when I do better, like I can't remember if I talked to you or Robert about this, but we were looking at the I think it was Robert. It was that Joey Chestnut Kobayashi like.
Oh yeah.
I had that on when we were talking about that, and I'm like, my goodness. And everyone was getting live entertainment. I understand that, but it was just kind of weird. And speaking of that, it was funny. Netflix is doing those 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, and you're like, oh, how's they going to do it? They hired CBS to produce the shows.
Okay.
So they might come up with like a Netflix score graphic, or they may have a Netflix produced show, but this isn't going to be anything different, Craig.
Well, and Yeah, and that's kind of like next year when their contract with WWE comes into the fold.
Oh yeah.
They were actually asked about how that production's going to look, and it's going to be WWE doing their own thing. Obviously, there might be some more bells and whistles because of Netflix, but it's not necessarily like Netflix is just buying the rights to stream the content more so than anything. Yeah, they're going to be a part of it, but they're not paying for the production. They might have some ideas, and that there might be a back and forth there, but it's not a surprise that the NFL deal is the same way, where they just want to get in on the ground floor, and you guys produce it, we'll stream it, we'll give you your cut, and maybe we'll get a little bit of an audience because we're going to have professional sports on at the end of the year, and then in the next year with WWE.
Yeah, so you're paying for something, but it's going to be the same.
Yeah,
it's going to be the same thing. What if they use like the CBS score tag? So you'll be watching on Netflix, but it'll be like
I think it'll be different. I think here's what I'm hoping for. Netflix,
okay.
With all the criticism that I've ever had about Netflix, the one thing that I will say about Netflix is this. They probably have more 4K content than anybody outside other streamers. And I think that if they can produce NFL games, if they have it be in 4K HDR, which if you watch certain Fox college football games are in 4K. I will admit too, this is the biggest criticism that I have of ESPN, is that ESPN does not produce 4K HDR yet. At least they're not putting it out there. But if you go on to Max and you watch a Mountain West football game on Saturday night, it is in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. It is 4K. It is gorgeous to look at. And it is the one criticism that I'll ever have of ESPN is that they're supposed to be the leader in sports. Why aren't they in 4K? All their main content should be in 4K. Not everything, but their main content. So back to Netflix. If Netflix can, somehow find a way to broadcast in 4K with the football games and with WWE, I think that would be a game changer for sports and entertainment.
All right. Sounds good. I'll buy that. Yeah, hey, check our podcast. Craig is on a little bit of a hiatus. Our buddy Bob Garver is on vacation.
Yeah.
Craig, not to make fun of Bob, but I'm saying this with respect. I mean, you might be listening saying, "Oh, he's making fun of Bob again." No, I'm not. The Bob Garver vacation photos are coming. Buckle up, man. It's gonna be
fun. Yeah, he always has fun. I always envy his vacation time.
Yes, and again, much rather have Bob here because more Bob here means more content. When Bob's on vacation, we don't get the Bob content. But again, follow Bob on Facebook, become his friend. I'm sure even if you don't know him, if you make a good pitch, he'll accept you as a friend. He's a nice guy like that.
And read read and listen to all of his reviews.
We need to talk Bob into maybe having a like page where he could share his reviews, his podcasts with you, and his vacation photos. I mean, if he can get 1 million followers like that, it'd be great.
Yeah,
and George, you would. How do we say this online? George went for a procedure. He's doing great. So thank goodness everything's going okay. But George might be out for a week or two. So so they're not gone for good. Just life's in the way. And once they get past those times of life, I'm sure they'll be back. And we're looking forward to having them back.
Absolutely.
Tons of other podcast content. I am working PR now, not with Mahoney Matters. Everything's good. Just a good opportunity. It was hard to say no to. So some of the guys that you may have heard on Mahoney Matters are now with us. Guy Vogren, he does a weekly podcast with me about Ohio news. Mike Brown does a weekly podcast about Ohio sports. Laura Kessel is kind of dipping her toe into coming back with us. She wanted to talk to me about the second season of Frasier. Who else? Luke Schuster, Craig. He's a new voice. He's a podcaster with the Youngstown-based MLO Brothers. On Friday, we're going to be doing a food review of the Chicken Big Mac, so definitely check that out. And then Craig, I'll mention this. We do other interviews from time to time when we get them. You might be into this guy. This came up quick, or I would have called you. We had an Oscar qualified short film director from Chechnya on our show.
Wow.
Ibosa Shevikovic. He brought The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent short film to Ohio. It won the Cannes Film Festival. It is eligible to be nominated for the Oscar. And since it was being played in Ohio, they pitched it to us. I got to talk to him from Chechnya. He had pretty good Wi-Fi, funny guy. We were talking about what the selection process was, because he's going up against a couple other films to see if he gets an Oscar nom in the short film. And he was like, well, it's a little less acrimonious than the American Life. He laughed and I laughed. It was great.
Good.
We had fun watching our electoral process together. So
yeah, very good.
Yeah, so check all that stuff out. So all kinds of stuff. And again, that's why it's good when PR can put more content up on our site. So, oh boy, for Craig, then this is Chris. Thanks for checking us out. Have a great night, everybody.